Good evening, everyone. I am going to put something a little different on my channel than I have in the past. So it's kind of a mind puzzle, but it's a real life scenario and something I'd like to have some fun with. So I'm going to put it out, and I'll put a title on it that hopefully will get it into a section where it's an IQ test or a brain teaser, a brain puzzle. And I would just like to get some opinions, and it's going to boil down to scenario 1 or scenario 2. Now, if you've ever watched my channel regarding my construction of my house in Nogales, Mexico, you'll actually have a visual of where I live. But even if you haven't, and this is the only video that you're going to see, you'll still be able to work the puzzle. So I don't want to make this long, so move right along. This is kind of a use your logic situation. And now if you're a baby boomer generation like myself, you'll remember there was one of those little puzzles we came across when we were in grade school. Boy has a rowboat, he has a sack of corn, he has a fox, and he has a goose. He needs to get all three of those items across the river, but he can only take one at a time in the rowboat. Now, if he leaves the goose and the corn alone, the goose is going to eat the corn. And if he leaves the fox and the goose alone, the fox is going to eat the goose. So the solution is really pretty simple. You take the goose across the river and you leave it alone. And then you go back for either the fox or the corn, and you cross it, but you take the goose back with you when you get the remainder of either the fox or the corn, because foxes don't eat corn. So now you have the fox and the corn on the side of the river where you need to be, and you go back and get the goose and bring him, and all three are over. So I have kind of a real life puzzle. Now, living in Mexico, still working in the US, traveling back and forth, there are always puzzles to work as far as life is concerned, because there's border crossing times to consider, time of day, when things are open in the US to which I need to get, working hours, distances, so forth. You know, even getting the mail, it's not just as simple as walking the mailbox. We have to plan for it. We have to work it into the most time efficient manner of doing it and getting it accomplished. So I, through work, am able to get a nice discount on tires. But since I live in Mexico, I can't have them shipped from Tire Rack to where I am. So I have to have them sent to a friend. And I don't have anyone in Arizona close by with that kind of a relationship to where I'd have tires shipped to them, but I do have a very good friend in California, and I had the tires shipped to his place. Now, I travel to California regularly for work, and I have a company car to do that. And a lot of it's explained here in this narrative that I've written, so if there's anything that you're misunderstanding as I'm talking about it, you'll be able to go back and read. And then I'm even going to show you a map so you can visualize it. So I have 4 new tires for my Ford Ranger. Now the Ford Ranger has 4 good tires on it, but they're the wrong size for it. But I have an Explorer, and those tires are perfect for the Explorer. Now the Explorer is in Mexico, the Ranger's in Mexico. Those 4 tires need to be in Mexico, ultimately, to be put on the Ranger or on the Explorer when the time comes. And I need to have the 4 tires that are in California placed on the Ranger. Now, since I'm traveling to California on business, I don't want to drive the Ranger, which is a personal vehicle. I'm not supposed to do that. But I can take my company vehicle, which is a Jeep Cherokee Latitude Tour, which, you know, it's a mid-size. It's not very big. Best case scenario, I can carry 4 tires in that car and minimal luggage, nothing else. So my plan was, I need to get the tires mounted that are in California on the rims to the Ranger and get them back here to Mexico and put them on the Ranger. And while they're off of the Ranger, I intend to inspect the brakes and maybe change brakes and do some suspension work, so it'll be in my garage safely and up in the air. Now once I get back, here's the issue that complicates things. Mexican customs only allows you to cross one tire at a time, in addition to your spare and the tires that are on the vehicle you're driving. Now I have a relay spot, a parking area 35 miles from home in Amato, Arizona, which is just north of the border. So one car can be parked there, warehousing 3 of the tires, and my wife will come and pick me up when I get back, and we'll cross one, and then I can make either 2 or 3 trips back. One can be counted as a spare, so if I leave a spare at home that belongs to the Explorer, I can probably move 2 in the Explorer at one time, so it'll make 3 trips. But again, you have to consider everything. Each time I make a trip, it's 30 miles in one direction, or 60 miles round trip. That's just from the border. I need 5 miles to get to the border. Even if I could get 20 miles to the gallon, which I can at $2 a gallon, but being conservative, you're looking at $6 in fuel for trips. So you want to keep the number of trips plus the 3 hours aggregate that it takes, because it's by the time I leave the house, sit in line, cross, go there and come back, it's going to eat up 3 hours. So I need to keep those trips to a minimum. So I've worked out in my head what I think is the best way to go about this. And a friend of mine has worked out, the one who has my tires, has worked out in his head what he thinks is the best. And of course, we both disagree with each other. And I'm not giving you too much information because I don't want to be misleading. I want anybody watching this to put in the comment section scenario 1 or scenario 2, the one with which you agree. I'm just going to have to throw it out. He's a good friend, but we have this kind of relationship. Sometimes we get just kind of gridlocked mentally and can't get past it. So I hope you can see this document. I'm going to scroll up slowly. And this will give anybody reading it the opportunity to back up with the video or go forward, pause, and read it. It's about a page and a half. And here's page 2. And that terminates that part of it. Now, if you can pay attention to this little map, and this is all primitive. I just drew this on a tablet. I'm sitting at the kitchen table here in the house, but just to give you a visual. So here's the border, Arizona and Mexico. Up about here is where Tucson is. And if we go up here a ways, there's Phoenix is here. And if you take this, 19 up and it curves through Phoenix and we'll end up in Los Angeles. But the tires are in Apple Valley, California, here in the high desert. So here's the puzzle. So here we are at my residence in Mexico. And there's both the Ranger and the Explorer. The Ranger's up in the air. The 4 tires and rims that you can see here have been removed. And the Explorer is going to be used to take me and these 4 tires and rims. My wife will take me from here to Amato, which is about 35 miles from the house, 30 miles north of the border. And that's where I have a parking place, and my Jeep Cherokee Latitude's parked there. So I would take these tires put them in the Jeep, or take the tires and rims in the Jeep and then take them over to Apple Valley, get the new tires mounted, then bring them back, leave everything here, and do the crossing one at a time to get the tires back. So the two scenarios are that I can just take the tires and rims off of the Ranger and take those 4 tires and rims all the way to California, have them dismounted, have the new tires put on the rims, and then I have to bring 8 tires back. And I can only fit 4 at a time in the car. And like my buddy said, well, you'll be coming back to California, so you do it. Now, I can add a step in there, and there's a local tire guy right here in my neighborhood, and for $1 each, he takes those tires, which need to be here in Mexico anyway, in the garage. But it'll cost me $4 and about 30 minutes of my time to go to him and have him take the tires off the rims, and I'll leave them where they need to be. So now these tires will remain here. The rims only go to Apple Valley. These 4 tires get mounted. They all fit in the Jeep easily, and they get moved back to Amato and parked. And in 3 or 4 trips, as I explained in the written narrative, I can get all the tires back to my residence. So I don't break any customs laws, and I don't have any tension, I don't have any stress, I don't have any issues. And I'm spending maybe $18 on fuel, maybe 9 hours of my time, as opposed to having to cross 8 of them. Now, instead of 9 hours, now I'm looking at an additional 12 hours, so it's 21 hours and maybe 24. Double the cost of fuel, wear and tear on the car, and of course, dealing with my wife to get her to go with me and take me back and forth and so forth. So it's just something that, we want to be terminated. So the question comes down to is it scenario 1 where spend the $4, take the extra 30 minutes, break the tires off, take the rims over, or take the tires and rims and have 4 tires that need to be here in Mexico, make an 1,100-mile trip, round trip to California and back, plus all the hassle of getting them back. But, to make a 1,100-mile trip, took them right back to where they're supposed to be in the first place. So you tell me what you think. I've made my mind up. I don't want to tell you which way up I'm going with this. Maybe you can even tell by my tone, but I don't want to throw it out. I'll leave it as a mystery. It's not a trick question. It's not one of these things where neither one is correct and you can pick it apart. It's all pretty straightforward. One way or the other, it's going to be done. Either the tires and rims go, and that way I don't have to go and have them broken down here. The guy who's mounting the new ones will break them down and send them back with me, or I leave them here in the first place. So tell me what you think. Put it in the comments, please. Scenario 1 or scenario 2. And if you'd like to elaborate on it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you very much.